Hello, beautifuls. It's Charlotte here with Dragonfly Soul Healing. So I'm coming on today, and this message is going to be kind of geared towards the light workers today. I woke up this morning with an interesting energy kind of lingering in the air, and as I was scrolling Facebook, I seen some information about the concert that happened down in Texas this week, a couple days ago, or last night, whenever it was. And the concert is irrelevant, yet so relevant in what we are here for and why we came to Earth in the first place with this mission that we have. And so this is where I'm gearing this a little bit more towards the light workers, those of us who know that we're here to do a little bit more on Earth than just kind of get through and survive. And so one thing I really want to bring up, as I was seeing it today when I was driving my son to school, was I was like, it's here. It has begun. I was going to be talking to you guys a little bit about this full moon that's coming up, because we're being shown that this full moon is going to be almost the catalyst of a lot of truth being exposed, a lot of things coming to the surface, and a lot of deaths begin to happen. And in this concert, we have 8 people die, and from what I've seen, 300 people also injured. So we have this energy of the beginning phases of what's about to come. And so this video is not really meant to scare you. It's meant to kind of be an activator. So I've set the intention that the downloads that you guys need at this time are going to come forth in my words. So the biggest thing that I'm seeing right now is we signed up for a really big job this time around. We've been preparing for it for many lifetimes. And so this has been the building bridge. It's part of this chaos here. And this is kind of the energy that's starting to surround us. And so it's really important for us to be paying attention to the energy that's being presented. When your energy starts feeling off. So I've been paying attention to what different energies come in, how they affect my body, so that I can see, oh, okay, this is this collective trying to make some noise in my field, trying to get me flustered or worked up or whatever this is, to allow myself to be like, okay, wait, out of my field, right? We're going to pull you back a little bit, create some boundaries to really sit and see what this is about. Now, a huge part of the reason why I wanted to make a video today was actually based on the concert that happened, that took place, because this is kind of the starting point, is what I'm seeing. And it's directly affecting the children. Feels like between 12 and 16 is kind of the age that's being affected right now. And so those with children around that age, I wanted to also kind of bring this to the surface, is our children at this age are going through their spiritual awakening. And because of this, they are much more easily influenced and manipulated by these higher energies, these or lower frequencied energies, however you want to see that, but those more controlled with their energies, let's say that. Okay, so our children right now are going through this phase of trying to understand this whole spiritual realm. And when you think about when you went through your spiritual awakening, I was 25 years old, so I had already lived life, experienced a lot of things, went through many phases of chaos and, you know, dark nights of the soul, and I didn't even realize what they were until much later in life. These children are going through this through their puberty phase to help them go through that massive awakening because of what we're experiencing on this earth plane at this time. But because of this, they're much more easily influenced, much more easily hijackable, especially when we have parents that don't believe that this stuff exists. Okay, and so now our children's friends are going to be influencing they're going to be influencing this energy as well. So we really have to pay attention to our children at this time. How are they acting? How are they reacting? What kind of music are they listening to? Because after I dropped my son off, I listened to the music from this person's concert to kind of see, because I was tracking into the energy of what was going on in that field. And it was more not to be like what happened, but more like, what is the energy influencing this chaos, and why do we have so many children around that 14 and 16 years old that were at this concert with like 50,000 people, guys? And so we have this energy showing up, influencing these people, and they were like literally piling in the doors, and it was such a fascinating thing to observe. I mean, I can only imagine the chaos that was in the field. But here's the thing, we have the Chariot card showing up twice here, and we're being shown, and interesting because they're both actually separated, they're both going opposite directions, right? And the Chariot's about movement, trying to find that prosperity. And my Crow's deck is my really heavy, clearing some really deep Akashic work deck. And so we have this duality kind of trying to separate us, and this is something that's been showing up for a long time. And so we need to kind of get grounded again. So this is kind of where I want to go now, is it's time to get grounded. The Hide Keys door here says a knock on the door. And this card here represents this energy of, in the book, it kind of talks about how you keep wanting to knock on this door that's sitting in front of us. We know that this is the door that opens to that next level of information, that next level of work that we are here for. And you've been in avoidance of it, right? We keep finding a reason to kind of step away from it, step off of our path, all these kinds of things, but we can't do that anymore. And I mean, you can. It is absolutely your option. But again, when we look at this duality, we have the world being divided. This lightness, trying to find that prosperity, that soul sovereign being that you came here to be, to help others feel that. Or we can go into this darkness, this divide. So this is everything that's happening in the world, everything we've seen, we've been asked to divide. And so this is that knock on the door. So when you look at it from this standpoint, you have two options here on what you're going to do. You're either going to run from the door and kind of follow into this darker, heavier timeline, or you're going to take this opportunity at this time and step through the door and allow yourself to really go. And I had a girlfriend who kept avoiding fully opening her spiritual gifts. So she was like, once I open this door, there's no going back. And this was an energy she was holding on to. And recently, as I've watched her unfold and allow this door to start opening, and I just kept like putting down little pieces of information to allow her to open the door when she was ready. Now all of a sudden the floodgates have opened. And this is making her go through a lot of things that maybe weren't as fun sounding as they wanted to be, but they were to help her get to that next level. Now the Elder card is also sitting here, and I really wasn't making this a reading or anything, but kind of like what needs to come to the surface. The Elder here says heed wise counsel, and so the dragons are stepping forward today, and I've been feeling them around a lot lately, actually. They've been showing up in my sessions and actually just like holding space for me while I do my sessions, just because there's such an intense energy, and I tend to gravitate towards those lower vibrations in my sessions to help clear that out of people's fields. And so the dragons have been here kind of holding space for me a lot this last 3 weeks or so, when I've had these heavier energies really showing up hardcore in my life and in all of my clients as well. And so we're being asked to really step outside of our comfort zone at this time to start holding space properly. And so if you haven't learned how to hold space for yourself, you're not going to be able to do this very well for others. And so this is kind of the call of, hey, body, what do we need at this time to help us get through this next phase? Because come this full moon, we start this eclipse season, things are going to get crazy and they're going to be a little chaotic. And I'm not one to kind of focus on the dark and heavy stuff. it's not even about like, oh my God, guys, things are about to get bad. It's more like, hey, guys, things are about to get crazy. And you thought that they've been crazy for the last year and a half, but we literally just watched people get trampled on at a concert in a pandemic where we're not even supposed to be hanging out with people, yet they were allowed to have 50,000 people come to the surface and all come together. And so we can see how this duality is starting to play out, and how easily the masses will literally take themselves out, and how we're in this divide. So nobody, it doesn't matter what you do, people are arguing about something. And so this message is more about, hey, what are you doing for yourself in this time? Because if you're allowing comments on Facebook to trigger you into a spin to the point where you're like having a mental breakdown, or watching something like that concert stuff that I was watching, I woke up first thing this morning and started kind of tracking into that energy. If I'm not able to hold my space, that shit would have broke me. And I would have been in my empathy mode where I would have been seeing those people on the ground getting trampled and going, oh my God, right? And I would have been taking that energy, and you felt that shift as soon as I did that. But here I am holding space like, okay, wait. Let's look at the bigger picture as to why this is happening, because this is our warning sign. It's like I was driving my kid to school and I was like, it has begun. This thing that we have signed up for so many lifetimes ago, that we planned this all out to get to this place, is here. And so we have this important mission at this time to step back and really see what needs to come to the surface, and hold space and start acting as this light worker that you came here for. So I want to pull a couple cards from this Dreams of Gaia deck, just because it's so magical. And I kind of want to ask, like, okay, what do we need to see? What is it that we need to do, to see, to understand? What needs to come forward? So I just want to see what wants to come to the surface. Right now, I just want you guys really focusing on getting in your body, holding space for yourself, and really seeing what needs to unfold for you. It's interesting, the cards that come up here. I think I'm going to start with this King of Water. So this King of Water is really showing me this energy of the eyes. And so when I was looking at the being's eyes that was part of this concert, his eyes were bothering me, and you could see that he was unwilling to fully look at the camera. When I looked at him, he actually looked dead, like there was something in his body using that meat suit. So it was really fascinating. So they're showing me the eyes again, and I feel like right now it's really important to pay attention to people's eyes around you, and see what kind of energy they are presenting. And I want you to pay attention to the way the energy feels when you're around everybody, not just like certain people that make you feel off. I want you to feel the energy around you with every single person, so that you can kind of feel that energy out, especially with the children. I can see it in my son when he plays certain video games or listens to certain music. He shifts, and I actually have to go in and close portals and everything, because he's literally, it's just part of this energy right now. And this is why I'm like, we have to be paying attention. We can't walk away from this door and pretend like this shit's not happening anymore, because it is. It's right in front of your face. And so this is kind of one of those little more intense messages, not so loving and like, hey, what's going on? It's more like, hey, shit's hitting the fan. What are you doing about it? The crone comes out here as well. And they're kind of showing me this passageway, almost like somebody's trying to lure me into this information. It's funny, I usually see these cards as so magical, but today I'm kind of seeing what's going on. And so it's like we're being lured into this portal, this darkness here. And so we have a choice. Now, this portal could be anything, right? But there's this energy of something's watching me. Something's trying to guide me in here. So where is your system at? And I think this is where it's so important to be like, where are you holding space right now? Because if you're not paying attention to your energy field, we can be hijacked so easily, especially because we're being so manipulated and so pulled apart where we can't even see what is good and what is evil and what is bad and what is whatever anymore, because we're in such a divide that our systems are just like a mess. And so through this time, if you haven't been doing your work and you've been kind of in avoidance, and I know that there's many of you on my page who I'm speaking to because it's a thing. I'm watching it happen as it unfolds. I've been here learning everything I can about this next phase of life to be ready for you guys, myself, to be ready for myself as well, but for you guys as well. Now, we also have this card come out here, and it's kind of showing me that journey, right? Where he's like, okay, let's go. Like, where are we going? How are we doing this? I have all of my tools that I'm going to need in my bag here. Like, let's go. Because the world is about to kind of go in this energy of defense where we have this like 5 of Wands, but then we also have this 9 of Wands where it's like the wounding and this guard, this fear. We're replaying a lot of Akashic energy right now where these things that are happening are not something that is, you know, just happening this time around. I was seeing in comments saying 1979 there was some kind of crazy concert thing happening, right? So we're just evolving, that's not the right word. We're replaying out the same stories that were happening before. So this, I mean, the concert is just an example because it was like the perfect like fucking trigger for me to be like, okay, now we need to start like getting our shit together, because this is the catalyst. The concert is irrelevant yet relevant, okay? And so we see that this is replaying, and somebody on my page had posted something about, remember when people died in Nazi time and then everybody was triggered, and some were triggered because they have lived in that lifetime where they went into the gas chambers or went through this suppression and all this stuff. So those people their Akashics are being triggered in this sense, but then the other ones that were in power at that time are triggered because they don't see what was wrong with it or whatever, right? So now again, here's this duality, but what are we doing? We're just replaying our Akashic records. And so in this state, we're still playing out these Akashic timelines, and this is why it's so important to come in and clear those Akashic records to allow yourself to free yourself from this. Anywhere that we've played out these suppression roles, or, you know, with the vaccinations and stuff, this forced energy, the tyranny, anywhere we've played this out, we have to pull that out of your field so that it stops triggering you. So this week is really important to focus on, what does your soul require to integrate these 12th dimensional blueprints to allow you to start seeing what your actual mission is here. Instead of being in this fight or flight and in this chaos, it's time to get grounded. This 9 of Pentacles here, she's a very stable, grounded, independent woman, and she holds space and holds her ground properly. And so this is important. And I mean, that crone even kind of looks like that too. Like, she looks like she holds the container very well for herself. And so if we don't look at it from this like luring standpoint, but we look at it from our soul's purpose and our soul's mission here, we can see her standing really firmly in her place. So it's really important right now that you guys are paying attention to your body. Please reach out. Come do a session if you need to clear some shit. If you're really triggered by anything happening in the world, if you go and start searching that concert that I'm talking about and you can't hold space, how about this? Don't. Okay? If you're still living in an empathic cycle, I don't want you going tracking this, because this is not why I was bringing this up. The concert, again, is irrelevant. It's more the trigger point of, hey, remember when we decided to come to Earth because shit was about to go fucking crazy and everything was going to fall apart, and you said, hey, I want to be part of this mission to rise above, to be the light bearer, to show people the balance and the temperance that needs to come, the healing that needs to come from all of this energy. This is your knock on the door to say it's time to open that door instead of running from it, because a lot of you have run from it and a lot of you haven't. A lot of you have been doing a really great job. And so for those of you, amazing. Those of you that have been kind of hiding and just like avoiding doing your spiritual work and kind of letting life run you, it's time to wake up, because you do not want to get sucked into that crazy mosh pit where people are trampling all over you because you can't hold space for yourself. So this is really important right now. And so take it for what it is. If you're triggered, awesome. What is that about? If you're excited, great. What are you doing to help people get through this? Are your children getting affected? What's up? Call me. Let's book a session. Let's clear some shit. Let's clear your house. Let's figure out what's going on. Where are you holding portals open? Where are you allowing entities to come into your field to hijack you to create these triggers in the first place? It's time to look at the whole picture. We can't pussyfoot around anymore because shit is getting real. And so this is really important, and I don't want to scare you. This is really one of those loving bitch slaps that I offer regularly to make sure that you guys get into the correct energy so that we can get through this together. We are much stronger if we're working together than working against each other. So let's take these triggers and work through them instead of spiraling through them and then bringing everybody else into your shitstorm with it. Let's work through that, okay? So I'm going to leave you guys there with that energy. Again, if you need any help or you're struggling with anything, please reach out to me, because I have resources. I have other people to kind of help you get through this. We can get through this together. We just have to allow ourselves to stop living in autopilot, okay? So I will chat with you guys then soon. Bye.